Hello, hi, and everyone. Today I would like to share about a lesson which is very interesting for everyone to know, that is the attack of the alien invaders. I want to share about what is actually alien invaders to everyone. Usually we found those kind of invaders in our surrounding. So, what is exotic species? But before we proceed what is exotic species, we need to know what types of species are exotic species are. So look at this picture. What do you know or understand about this picture? This is a picture of a cat. What do you know about a cat? A cat has different behavior, same like human. But interestingly, a cat can be an exotic species. How can a cat become an exotic species? Look at these photos. What do you understand about the behavior of a cat? A cat loves to hunt. So when you bring a cat to a rainforest environment, which is outside the normal environment of a cat, it tends to hunt endangered species like birds perhaps, or small animals. And what happens when they're inside the rainforest? They deteriorate the biodiversity loss of the environment. So the cat can be an exotic species. Exotic species is actually a species that not normal or not naturally happen in that environment. So think again when you want to bring your cat. But before we go further, let's understand some of the terms. Native or indigenous. What is native or indigenous to you? Native or indigenous species is a species that living naturally in a given area prior to colonization of humans. So meaning to say it is actually lived there for hundreds of years. It doesn't move, doesn't go out. It can only happen or it can only have it in that particular area. So what is exotic or non-indigenous or alien? It is an introduced species outside its native range. Remember the cat's photo? The cat is actually exotic, or we call it non-indigenous. We bring the cats together, we bring the cat into a rainforest. Then the cat become an exotic species because cat doesn't live in a rainforest except for tigers, except for lions. But domesticated cats is not endemic or indigenous or native species of that rainforest. So what is naturalized? Naturalized is a non-native species that is established, imply acceptance of the species in new area by humans. So now we proceed with nuisance. What is nuisance to you? Nuisance is a species that has adverse impacts on human activities. And this can be harmful and can bring problematic to the human population. So we call it nuisance species. And what is invasive? Invasive is a species that spread rapidly in numbers and in space until the native or the indigenous species become very scarce because of their invasion. So now that you know what is the important terms for this topic, then one more question that I wanted to ask everyone. What makes a good invader? To invade a place, you need to be what? So these are the list of how to be a very good invader in terms of exotic species. Number one is to be generalist. Diet, your habitat often must be in a native range, meaning to say your diet, you need to not be picky. You need to be general. You eat everything, then you can be a very good invader. So what about habitat? You cannot be picky with where you want to sleep, where you want to stay. You can stay anywhere. Then you can become a very good invader. So the second one is tend to have high fecundity, genetic variability, be hardy and robust. Of course, to be a very good or strong invader, you need to have, a very good hardy, so that you won't be killed by any diseases. What about vegetative or clonal reproduction? You need to be, what we call it, proactive to produce offsprings. Then you can be a very good invader. What about ability to spread rapidly? Of course. If you have low spreading ability, then it is very hard for you to become a very good invader. And one more thing, the most important thing is phenotypic plasticity. What is phenotypic plasticity? It's the ability of the organism to change its phenotype in response to changes in the environment. Say, for example, if the exotic species usually live in a cold place, when it wants to invade a warm environment, then it needs to change its phenotype in response to the environment. So if the environment is warm, then it needs to change to warm environment. So now I hope you know a little bit about what is a good invader and what is alien invaders in our environment. Thank you. Sudahkah?